Hello, I'm Sophronia Scott, Director of the Alma College Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing, and this is Faculty Friday. We like to take this time to allow you to have a bit of the experience of our wonderful faculty so you can get a sense of what it's like to work with them in our low residency program. Today I have with us S. Kirk Walsh, the author of the best-selling novel, The Elephant of Belfast. Kirk in our program teaches both fiction and nonfiction. Today, our topic is fiction and discussing the differences between short stories and novels. Kirk, thank you for being with us today.
It's good to be here. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I think kind of a common exploration in any MFA program is the short story form versus the novel form, and how do you decide um, which container you should tell your story in? And I think for me, my own experience in an MFA program, it, that in the workshop setting, you can kind of experiment with short stories. And then when you move towards your thesis, that might be a good time to think about working on a novel length manuscript, just because you're working one-on-one with someone, and it can give you a little bit more focus. Uh, that said, I think finding the material for the novel is can be a little bit of take time, and also respecting kind of the your material. There's a really wonderful short story writer, Amy Hempel, and I remember hearing her once at a reading saying that often your material presents itself in the form it's most meant to be told. And she kind of was saying how her material was getting shorter and shorter. And
Mm,
she's someone, as most people know, has never written a novel. She's strictly a short story writer. And it's because she talked about like respecting the material, kind of sustaining the short story form. Um, I know for me, I tend to write long. And I
so do
tend to
I.
be, yeah. So it's like you have to think about like, can the material kind of sustain a book length narrative? And even though you might still just have one central question with the novel, there's often, you know, short and long lines of suspense. And so you have to kind of think about what are the short lines that are moving through the chapters, and how do they kind of support the longer line of the narrative? Another kind of way to think of it is just simply like, what are the parts of the book? Like, you could just sort of think like seasons or different events that can kind of, the writer, Jamal Brinkley, talks about them being like the load-bearing pillars of
Mm,
the narrative. So I think like whatever way, if you're considering moving into the novel form, to simplify it so it's not like this um, nebulous mass of like, all
yeah,
right, I've
yeah,
written, 50,000 words. What is it? I really encourage my students to think about what the scope is, even though it can change during the revision process. It's
yes.
very helpful to kind of, at some point, kind of narrow the narrative so it's not too overwhelming in terms of the amount of time you're covering or the events that you're covering. But the being an MFA program is like a great opportunity to kind of explore, the short story form, even flash fiction, and then the novel, because people in the program are writing in all different forms, which is,
Yeah.
yeah, you can kind of see what works for you.
Yeah, I liked that, even though I write long, when I was an MFA student, I spent my first term focused on the short story because I really
Mhm.
wanted to get storytelling under my belt. And I knew that if I could do that, then I could, you know, expand my knowledge, my storytelling into a novel length work. But I think just understanding how a story works is important.
Yeah, like it gives you kind of a command of the mechanics of scene and character development. And
Mhm.
it is really important, no matter what you're writing, to kind of have that down before you move
Yeah,
into the longer form.
yeah. Well, Cook, thank you for discussing this with me today. I am so happy that you're with us on our faculty. Thank you for joining us today. This has been Faculty Friday. I'm Sophronia Scott. She's Kirk Walsh, and we are with the Alma College Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. To learn more about the program and to apply, just go to our website, alma.edu/MFA. Thank you.